Recap. So, section 12. Nothing mundane. The novices arrived in the Rally District. Beau, still disguised as Guardian Commander Grenell Bronstone, convinced the watchman Aaron to take them all the way to the Mercantile Ward. Finding their destination wasn't difficult after that. The ostentatious store, the not mundane arcane, awaited. It housed a few pricey magical items procured by the proprietress Fate. Ste'yn bought a diary, Beau bought a spellbook, and Snow traded for a medallion of Detect Thought. He gave Fate the dull crystal that he learned was a shard of dark focus that holds evocation spells. He also agreed to lunch. After a few more housekeeping details, the novices set out to the officers' residences on the other side of the district to find Captain Nora. Inquisitive Snow asked Beau about his talent for climbing up walls so nimbly. Beau chalked it up to simply being self-taught. Turning his own protective nature against him, Ste'yn withheld the contents of the diary from Beau until after he shared the contents of the stolen safe he found near Undra's outpost. When they arrived at the residences, they found one house placard that read Isalin, E. But they were stopped at the door by a guard on patrol duty. Beau managed to sneak around back and unlock the back door, only to be stopped by a magical barrier. The others entered fine, and Beau only seemed capable of entering while holding Ste'yn's hand. Frustrated, he stormed upstairs and found the bedroom and a very ill Captain Nora inside. So you guys are at the threshold of this large bedroom. And when you look in, you see straight ahead of you this single large bed, and you do see Nora laying inside of it. The covers are drawn all the way up to her neck and her shoulders. You can see there's a bedside table, there's an unlit candle on one, there's a cup and saucer on the other. You see the writing desk that's right along the wall that you entered through. There's the window that you saw from out front that was pushed open. Doesn't seem to be helping much with kind of moving the air at all. It's pretty stagnant air in there. You see an armoire along the same wall with the window. There's another door on the other wall to your right. There's just an additional door.
And you said that she had black stuff on her face like Snow had, right?
Yeah, so from what you see from as far back as you are, it's still fairly prominent. She is incredibly pale. You see where the veins are in her face blackened, like you recall seeing on Snow. You see kind of that crown along her hairline and also kind of going into her white hair. One thing I did say was that her hair was pulled aside in this braid. Not that it makes a huge difference, but that was a mistake on my part. I was remembering the other character who does, in fact, have her hair braided. Nora's hair is down, sort of splayed around her on the pillow.
So Beau's gonna go up and lightly, but he is gonna touch the dark part of like the veins or whatever, the black area on her forehead or wherever it's at, gently.
Okay. So you walk up and you gently touch her forehead. She's very cold and clammy, but nothing seems to happen otherwise.
All right, well, after Snow's little thing, I figured double check. No offense.
Is she actually there? Yes, her forehead exists, and there's nothing appearing on it, apparently.
She is a bit clammy, but I don't know that much on the medical front of things. If you want to take a look, Ste'yn.
Ste'yn's gonna cast Detect Magic.
Beautiful. We were prepared for this one.
And she'll walk up to
magic
towards the bed. 10 minutes.
You cast Detect Magic. A few things do light up. There is one thing that lights up in the armoire, and one thing that lights up beneath the blanket that is drawn up on her. Sorry, 3 things light up. 2 things beneath the blanket light up.
There's something magical, 2 things magical beneath these blankets. Ste'yn will gently pull the blankets back, trying to see what it is. Snow, you promised you were disguised when you looked like this, right?
Yes.
Did you
yes,
have?
It was an illusion. I don't understand.
Were you inspired by something and you chose that illusion? Like, did you have some
my own imagination?
Life imitating art, I
still
suppose.
Invisible, by the way. Y'all can't see him. Y'all just hear his voice coming from nearby. Once again.
While Ste'yn checks under the covers, Beau's gonna go on the other side, and because I'm assuming the bed's elevated. Is that correct in the assumption? So he's gonna drop down, he's gonna look under the bed to see if there's anything down there that might be of concern or interest.
Viola's just
Good
gonna
idea.
walk up to the foot of the bed.
We all just surround her.
Just like, turn on the bed. We don't know what Snow's doing.
Who's
He's
that?
invisible.
Snow's on the bed.
Just sits politely on the corner, and all you see is just this ghostly little indent. Viola, you walk up closer. You're just looking over the bed, and you see these bedding. It is very nice bedding. It goes along with what you've already seen in the house, that there isn't much, but what is there seems to be of very high quality. Beau, you drop down to look below the bed. Don't spot anything other than, a pair of slippers is all. Ste'yn, you pull the blanket back, and you see Nora looks frail. She looks very petite, and you'd already tell just from her own structure, her own body structure, she's generally quite petite. But without the bulk of that leather armor on her, it's almost sickly how thin she looks. Very pale skin. She's wearing a very simple gray nightgown. She's wearing this necklace, a very simple necklace strap with a dark metal pendant on it. And that is what's giving off one of those beats of magic that you picked up on quite prominently. The other, as you pull the blanket back further, you see by her hip, around her waist is this very loose belt with a small holster, and at her hip, you see that gem-like blue and gold firearm. This long barrel, the golden cylinder appears to hold 3 bullets in it.
Has she moved at all?
She has not. She's just laying there.
Ste'yn will look more closely at the necklace. She's trying to figure out its school of magic.
Does Snow recognize the pendant?
Give me an investigation check, both of you.
That's a 15 from me.
18.
Both of you notice almost immediately that there's, in the metal, on one side, there appears to be like a small hinge. On the other side, there is a clasp, as if it opens like a locket. The design on it is this beautiful, delicate pattern. And in the center of it, you see this little sigil that you can tell is sort of an Elvish kind of combined symbol that if you speak Elvish, you recognize to essentially be describing the word love.
Love?
Love.
She loves lockets.
Mm-hmm. As far as
We
School
cracked
of
the
Magic,
case.
you got it, guys. That's all you needed to know. You can leave now. So what it is that it appears something will happen. It will do something upon opening. Someone's essentially imbued it with, I guess, does Detect Magic tell you?
Only the School of Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only the school.
Identify and give me the information of what it does.
That's the one. Okay. Maybe it is evocation. It might be evocation.
You know, if you tell us the spell that it does, we can tell you what school it belongs to.
Or you can just ask Snow
Cast
to
fireball on
identify it
self.
for
It's
you.
a kamikaze necklace.
That's always the answer.
Say it.
Ha.
Ste'yn will look towards the direction she last heard Snow's voice and wherever he might be. And there's something with this necklace. I can't quite tell what it does. Can you learn anything else about it? It doesn't seem to be affecting her, but I don't really know for sure.
Snow recognize it or no?
There wasn't
Like has he
not beyond
has
the
he seen someone else wear this or something similar?
Not specifically.
Snow will sit down and is it on a chain?
It is.
He'll remove it from Nora and then sit down
Okay.
with it and cast identify ritually.
Okay. As you start to remove to unclasp the locket, give me a perception check.
That is very good. That is a natural 1. So
Nora's dying.
pretty sure
Okay.
I'm on top of things.
Excellent. You go ahead and sort of lift her by her shoulders, and you can also feel that just anywhere you touch on her skin, it is cold and clammy, but you manage to get the locket off of her. and lay her back down, and you sit and you cast Identify.
It'll take 10 minutes. The rest of y'all just see all of a sudden Snow appears on the floor, crisscross applesauce, with the locket in his lap as he begins casting the spell.
So I'm not exactly, like I said, I don't know that much about medicine, but to my understanding, she should be being looked under in this circumstance, shouldn't she?
The lack of supervision here, the fact that she's still armed with her firearm, there's many things that are not adding up here.
Yeah.
She's not responding to anything we're doing.
Yeah.
Is there a window that would look out onto the street from this bedroom?
There are windows 2 walls. One of them faces the street.
The open one you saw when you first arrived is the one that you see open in her bedroom.
Okay, Viola's just gonna go like peek out the window a little bit and see if there's anything going on the street.
Give me a perception check.
11.
You look out on the street, just looking about. Nothing seems particularly out of the ordinary. It's a fairly quiet street.
So Beau's gonna investigate the desk. He wants to look for any kind of things that could be like going on. Any, like maybe if she has like a diary where she has any kind of concerns listed or anything like that. Basically try to do a little sleuthing, see if anything seems out of ordinary or any kind of tips as to like what was going on, even with her medical condition beforehand.
You said you're looking specifically at the desk?
Yeah, through the desk.
You go back over to the desk, and now looking at it from this direction, heading towards it, you see right above it that portrait. There's a portrait that appears to be of a village street. Right above it, on the actual desk itself, you don't see much. There's just a piece of parchment there and a quill, but it's not been used yet. But the candle, there's a candle on the desk that looks like it's prepared, like it would have been used, but it has not been used.
Well,
Ste'yn would like to do a medicine check to see if she can see if there's any, like, figure out something about what's wrong with Nora.
Sure, go ahead, roll.
That is a 23.
So what you notice about her, she's not responding too much, but as you go to check on her, you do see just little fitful movements. Her breathing sort of looks like she's taking a breath very slowly, but it seems to go out very quickly, as if it's kind of a struggle. But the overall sense you get from her, she's incredibly fatigued. Her body looks tired, just really, really tired. Just everything feels like a labor, even just the ordinary movements of breathing. So it doesn't come to you as a surprise that she's not responding to what you're doing.
Has Beau ever seen anybody in this condition? Legitimately in this condition?
Give me just a straight up intelligence check.
18.
Here's some fun behind the scenes DMing stuff. I was fumbling between 2 numbers I wanted for the DC, and you managed to top it. So regardless, yes. Beau, you in your travels might have seen someone who looked a little bit like this. Where you were, you recall that person was hanging around for a while, maybe longer than other people who were around you. This one just seemed to last longer, maybe? They've been there for a while. And the longer they were with you in that area seemed to kind of progress slowly towards nothing this much, but definitely the fatigue looks familiar. Maybe a little bit of the freshenness.
With that, does he know of any kind of remedies then?
No.
All right.
You want to roll for it?
Sure. What would that be? Medicine?
Yeah.
11.
No. Where's the fun if you can't try?
Ste'yn will gently tuck her back in and just whisper some soft reassurances as she's doing so.
Right. So why do we think they would leave her here?
Ste'yn, do you want to cast Detect Evil and
That's
Good?
my next. That's what I was getting ready to do. Ste'yn will drop Detect Magic and cast Detect Evil and Good.
All right. You do not get any sense of anything either celestial per se, or certainly not fiendish.
What about Elemental, Fey, Undead, Aberration?
Nope.
Darn it. Nothing.
What were you thinking?
Thinking Fiend. I
Do
was
you
thinking
think-
something related to what we found.
Do you think like that little mark type thing that was on Viola's armor?
That's what we thought might be possible. There was nothing, but there was something in the wardrobe that was magical. Ste'yn's gonna go over to the armoire and open it up to see what was in there.
All right. You open up the armoire. It is a tall, beautiful, dark wood, shining armoire. So when you open it, to see what's actually inside of it is not matching to the otherwise grandeur of the furniture itself. But you see on the right-hand side,
there's a taller cutout with some simple blouses and skirts, a few sets of leather armor, and that's about all I could glean from what you said so far.
That was all I really said anyway, so it looks like it didn't cut out too bad. So the leather uniforms, there's boots right below the uniforms, go into a set. On the left-hand side, closed drawers, you see the higher shelf has that small box with the uneven smears of color on it. There's a little metal clasp on that one, but it's kind of like bent out of shape. On the lower shelf, you see this thin wooden box. That one has a clasp on it. That one is shut though. And then on a shelf right below that one, there's a thicker box, but that one is opened and it reveals this black cloth lining in the box. But otherwise, that one is empty. Somewhere on that left-hand side, probably either the shut one or the opened one, those boxes, is where you got that sense of magic from.
She's gonna take the shut one and try to open it.
It's a simple little metal clasp. You just flick it with your thumb and it pops out of a little divot. When you open it, the first thing it appears to be is just this black-shaped stone. But on closer inspection, you note that it looks decidedly like a dagger that was carved from a single piece of onyx. The blade is very thin, kind of gently curves, and the hilt is this sturdy, firm stone.
I don't think I need
You
to
have
detect
seen
magic
this dagger
to tell
before.
that this is magical dagger. Oh, is this the one she was wearing in the battle and using?
It is the one she used.
Wait, but if she used that when we were fighting, who put it away? She didn't.
I assume it's the same
Yeah,
person
why
who
didn't
brought
they
her
put
here.
away her?
But they left the
why didn't
gun
they put
on
away
her.
her pistol too?
Yeah.
There's an empty
Awfully
box. Is
strange.
the other box about the exact same size?
Give me an investigation check.
Who, me or Ste'yn?
Oh, well, I mean, if you're asking, I assumed you were looking, but if you're not looking, then don't
Oh,
worry
I
about
was asking Ste'yn.
I'll investigate it.
it. Sure.
That's a 17.
The box looks like it'd probably fit a little firearm like that. Long barrel, nice little cylinder, holds 3 shots.
Yes, I think the other box is meant for her gun.
So,
They left it on her for some reason. Do they think she's likely to get attacked in the state?
I mean, but if she was to get attacked in the state, that knife would be better than that gun.
Well, they're not doing a very good job of protecting her otherwise if they really think that she's gonna get attacked. I mean, 3 of us just walked right through the door. Beau had to hold your hand, but he got through.
What's up with that, Beau?
I don't know.
There's
It's
no
not
problem
my
getting
house.
through.
It's not my house. I don't know what they got on it. Maybe they don't like people that can pick locks. It's discrimination is what it is.
Awfully odd use of magic to keep out people who can pick locks.
Well, I don't know. I didn't enchant the house. Did your
I'll take another
did
look at
your
it when we leave.
did your enchanted? You can detect a whole house,
I could.
or you can
Well, I was talking
identify a
about the
whole
door.
house.
No,
Oh,
I just meant the door.
We can go check the door before we leave. Maybe see what's. I'm still not sure you weren't just lying about the whole thing, honestly, but.
okay. Well, I think. Well, I couldn't see him. I'm pretty sure Snow saw me get repelled back.
Did he? Probably.
At least twice, I think Snow saw it.
Yeah. No, that's true. He did. And Ste'yn, if you were worried, he did ask to hold my hand first. So
I'm just very confused by that.
not to brag.
All right. Well, what do we think needs to be done here? You probably got like what, a few minutes left, and then we'll know about that locket. But what are we doing about the Nora in the room?
It's a
Like,
fantastic question because other than her, she seems extremely fatigued, extremely worn out. She's not in good shape.
I have 2 more things I would like to do after I finish this ritual, if y'all can spare the time.
what are you thinking?
don't-
Am I almost done? Miss Dungeon Master?
Yeah, no, totally, you're good. You were identifying the locket?
Yes, ma'am.
So the locket itself appears to be quite ordinary, if otherwise very beautiful, probably elven craftsmanship. But on the locket, it's enchanted in a way that when it opens, it is to then begin playing some type of music, like a music box.
It is a music box, and he'll open it.
We waited
Ta-da!
a music.
As you
box?
open it-
Recognize the song playing.
If you want, you can roll me an intelligence history check as a few whimsical little
I got a
notes.
nat one.
You got a nat 20.
You're welcome.
It's Viola's
You're
favorite
most
song.
welcome.
I love this song.
It's the Walmart theme song.
Okay, a nat 1, a nat 20.
I got a
9.
15.
The one who does music for a living got a 9.
A 9. Okay.
Better than a
That's
nat
all right.
1.
Ste'yn, you have heard this tune before, but it's like a distant memory. You might have heard it once while traveling, or maybe in your own hometown, someone humming it, maybe just not even thinking about it, just unconsciously. But you have heard it. It's just a soft, pretty tune. It sounds like it's just, for a few seconds, it repeats the same just like verse of tune. Viola, you distinctly recall hearing this song. It's the first verse of a lullaby you heard while on the first stop of your travels. It is distinctly Peosian. It is from the kingdom of Peo. It is definitely it originated there. But you did hear it before. You recall it. You could sing it 1,000 times over. But it is a lullaby. And Snow, as you open this little locket, you do note there's not a huge divot. It doesn't need it. But there is a small divot inside of it. And it's not a picture that's in there or anything like that. You just see 2 short strands of black hair.
All right, well, what else did you want to do then, now that we know that this is just a music box?
It's a pretty song.
It is very pretty.
It is. I like it. And he'll close the locket, making sure to not disturb the hair. And he will put the locket back around Nora's neck. And then he will, not ritually, he will cast Identify on Nora, just to make sure that there is no magical effects affecting her that we otherwise couldn't find.
You do not get the sense that there is any ongoing magical effects on her.
Oh, you think you think there's food in her pantry? I mean, she's not gonna eat it.
Oh,
But she might
Well,
when
she might
wakes
eventually.
Okay, well, I mean, it's gonna go bad. They're perishables.
Miss?
You don't even know if there's perishables.
Well, that's what I'm
How
saying.
long
I
do you
think,
she's gonna sleep for?
well, given her look, probably a
It
while.
hasn't even been 24 hours yet.
Well, I don't know. But
All right, we need a plan. So my last thought is to attune to this medallion that I'm wearing, and then I can read her mind. It does not require that the subject be awake for that.
That is a good idea.
However,
Mm-hmm.
it will take me an hour to attune to it, so it's not a quick thing.
Right. How far away can you be for that? Like, to detect thought, to read her mind. Do you need to stay in this house?
Range? Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I would have to be able to see her.
Could be a good way to find out what's going on. She seems fitful, even in this sleep.
do we think we have an hour waiting in here, though?
Ste'yn's gonna go look out the window or try to see if there's any commotion, anything that looks out of place, or basically trying to see if we've been noticed.
Go ahead, roll perception for me.
That is a 21.
You don't see anything out the window. You don't even see that woman patrolling anymore outside.
The more and more empty it is, the more and more I'm concerned.
There's nothing out there. I didn't even see that guard from earlier.
Do you think she knows we're in here?
I'll go check
Would she have
downstairs.
done something by now?
She might have called for backup. Or maybe
She
she's
would
as
need it.
concerned as we are. And
She certainly didn't see it.
but there's no movement on the street at all, no one outside, nothing.
I mean, you might see some people in the distance, but there's
Okay.
nothing really in this direction. You might see a few people going through who appear to be in the same like cloak with the little brooch, or the second brooch that indicates that they might belong there themselves, being wardens and not novices. And so you might see some of them roaming by, but just this little corner is not hyperactive.
Well, we need to decide what we're gonna do. If we're gonna keep investigating this place, I can begin to attune to this. Ste'yn, you could sweep the house with detect magic.
Oh, sweet. I think we need to find out what's going on here, because something is not right. And
Nothing about this is right.
Well, if she has...
Snow, can you give me and just a straight intelligence check, please?
No, that is a 6. I used up all my
Okay.
good rolls last session.
Dang, it's like 3
None
nat
more.
20s in a row last session.
That was it. Only single digits
No more.
for me
Snow's
now.
done. Write them out. You're watching her. You're looking at her. You've certainly never seen anyone in a state like that before, but you're trying to remember if anything could clue you in. It's just not quite hidden for you.
I don't like how similar
Snow
she looks
begins
to Snow.
making a flower crown while we talk. Just like a nervous habit, he's making a flower crown.
It makes me feel like something's set up or someone else.
Who all would have seen Snow like that? That isn't us, or isn't anybody who Snow didn't tell
Well, the
what was
only
happening?
other people that saw it besides us would be them at the keep.
Well, there was Vaughn, there was Moonridge, there were the watchmen that were with us. And then when we got to the keep, there was Yonai, there was Aglin, there was a number of people who would have seen him in this state.
It was only the two of them there, and then there was Vaughn and Moonridge at the hovel.
My concern about reading her memory is I feel like at this point there would probably be gaps in it anyway. We might know what happened to her out on the field, but I imagine between that and where she is now, there would just be, for the most part, nothing. It might be better to use it on people that she would have come in contact with in between her getting here. So Aglin, who is supposed to treat her, maybe Vaughn, who also would have been there whatever this happened, or not Vaughn, but Moonridge, whenever this happens. There's people that are presumably more functioning that might give a clearer depiction than how she is right now.
What if one of them is behind this?
That could be
Well,
beneficial
reading
to
their
read
thoughts
their
would
thoughts
definitely
then.
be good.
And Moonridge is who was left with her when we left,
Would have
Yeah.
been
and
the
would have
last
seen
ones to
Snow
see
as
her.
well.
But if Moonridge wanted to kill her, he could have just done it and not bring her back. It was just her and Moonridge out there. Doesn't do him any good to bring her back alive. He could have just finished her and then brought back a corpse.
Well, she's basically a
don't
corpse
think
right now,
the-
anyways.
Yeah, but if you bring back somebody that has the potential of giving away information or getting better, it doesn't make any sense.
That's true.
Nothing about this makes sense.
So,
Well,
I feel like we should figure out where Moonridge is and maybe figure out the deal with Aglin and what the treatment was. Because that's the weird thing to me, is that because the Jeremy said that she got sent home or something to that. Who would send somebody home like this?
Right, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, she's clearly still not well. Aglin seemed to know that I was using an illusion. He didn't seem to need to be told that. It was a little unsettling, actually, given the circumstances. I don't know how he saw through my illusion. He also seemed to know that I had the crown on my person.
But
Wait.
he made sure the crown was disposed of, didn't he?
He said the head watchman did.
He said that it got disposed of by the head
priest.
watchman, or that he
Taken care of. I
It
don't
was
think he
taken care
gave
of.
details.
How do we know he actually exchanged it?
We don't.
So I would say Aglin is our first person of contact.
you think Moonridge lives here too? Could we peek through his house real quick?
Well, I mean, I assume Moonridge is, because she's a captain, he's not a captive. I don't know if he would be in this exact same district, or if he might still be in the Raleigh district where we are now, but maybe in a different part of it. Or he might be in the Peace District. I'm not 100% sure. We never really asked him about his address.
I do think we might get more from Aglin or some others than we would from Nora right now.
Assuming they are actually taking care of her, I also don't know if we have an hour to just spend inside our house.
Well, if Snow could turn invisible again, we could go and take a look around, and he could hang out in here, and if someone pops up, he could just, I mean, we can't do that, so I definitely don't think the other three of us should stay in this exact spot.
Is it a good idea to spread us out, though, if we're
thinking there's something strange going on, spreading us out or splitting us up might not be wise.
And if it is, for example, Aglin who caught him during a disguise, there's a good chance he would just see him if he was invisible.
That is true. Well, we can always come back if we want to go peek around outside and then come back. Do you have to like sit still like when you're holding things to find stuff out about them? Do you have to sit still for an hour? Oh, well, that's good at least.
To identify things? No. I
No,
can
to
do
become
that as
friends
we
with your
walk.
necklace.
Yeah, she means to attune to your.
Oh, to attune. I mean, I just have to not be doing very much. I could probably walk around and do it, but I have to be focusing. I have to have my focus on the medallion the entire time.
Why don't we look around this place a little bit more? I can cast detect magic again and see if we can find out about that door downstairs. We can see if there's anything else to discover. Snow could start tuning to the necklace, and then maybe we go back to Seiko's Keep.
I think that sounds like a good enough plan for now. Let's take a peek around here and then we'll regroup.
Snow?
Snow finishes the flower crown that he's made. It is pink azaleas, symbolizing for one to take care of themselves, and he will gently place it on Nora.
Wait, if you put crowns on her head, won't they just see that if they come and check on her?
And?
He takes it off of her head and puts it on her chest.
And then puts the blanket over?
No, over the blanket, on top of the blanket that's over her chest.
Look, if anything, it lets people know that someone could get in here and get this close to Nora and do something.
Okay,
And
but
they chose to leave a flower crown.
They need
he
to do
also
better
makes
job.
a flower crown all the time, though. It's kind of... I don't see anybody else walking around making flower crowns and putting them on people, is all I'm saying.
No, roll a perception as you place the crown wherever it's going to wind up on Nora.
She all of a sudden gets better and opens her eyes and looks at us and tries to pretend like she's sleeping.
Yay. That's a
What do we do?
9.
No, what are you doing?
I can't roll more than single digits now.
You placed the crown. Are you placing it on her head or on her chest?
He placed it on her head, and then when Beau mentioned, he took it off and moved it to her chest.
Okay, you sort of are distracted as you start to do one thing, this kind gesture, and then Beau interrupts with his logic and paranoia, and so you move the crown elsewhere, but still for just a moment, and maybe you imagined it. It's distinctly possible you imagined it, but you thought that maybe Nora might have reacted. Maybe a little like a cough, that familiar kind of cough, and that could have maybe just been clearing her throat instinctually. It's hard to say. But there was maybe some kind of reaction as you placed the crown on her.
Did you put her necklace back on her?
Ste'yn's
Yeah,
going
who's going
to-
where?
I think we're staying in the house. Ste'yn will cast detect magic again and start walking around to see what else is magical, what else lights up, explore the house.
Okay, are you leaving the bedroom the way you came?
Unless there seems to be something in the other room that's magical, she's not going to go investigate through the other door in Nora's room.
Okay.
Bathroom.
It's a 30-foot radius that she can detect things in.
Okay, lovely. You start heading back out. Where are the others? Are you guys following her, or you guys are heading elsewhere?
Viola's gonna
Follows.
stay in the room with Nora and just keep an eye out the windows every now and then. And she'll also walk up and just open Nora's necklace so that the music plays again so Nora can listen to it.
Beau's gonna walk over to the armoire and grab that knife.
I knew it.
Okay.
I knew
Do you
it.
recall, do I need to describe what was in the armoire again, or that's all you really were, that's all you wanted?
That's all he wanted.
Okay. You grab that dagger.
Does Viola
Um,
see that?
And put that back.
Well, he waited till you walked
Detect
out.
magic is up.
Oh yeah, that's
Detect
true.
magic is up.
I'll give it back to her when she wakes up. She's not doing anything in the meantime with it.
Just look.
Put it back.
If we
Why
end
do
up,
you need it?
well, if we end up having to fight Aglin, or if we have to fight Moonridge, this is certainly a
You think
better
Aglin
weapon.
or Moonridge won't be able to recognize it?
I'm not saying they can't recognize it. I'm saying I could stab them with it.
Well,
Still think you should put it back.
I'm
But
not
it's
taking
not
her gun.
yours. Put it back. She used her knife just as much as... Actually, I don't even remember if she used her gun at all, but she definitely used her knife in combat.
Yes, which is
And-
why I know it's good in combat, which is why I want it until she wakes up.
Well,
What, you think I'm gonna damage it? It's gonna be fine.
you don't know what could happen, and that could potentially be very sentimental to her. If you happen to lose it, or it happened to get stolen from you,
Which is why I'm gonna give it back to her. We're doing this for her. She can at least let me borrow her knife.
she can't let you do anything. 'cause she
Right, we're
can't
not
speak
gonna
for
get
herself
anywhere
right now.
arguing. Come on, guys.
Ste'yn, did you leave?
yes, Ste'yn's in the other room. just yelled back over her shoulder for him to put it back.
While they're bickering, Ste'yn, you step out with detect magic going. As you're in the little hallway, the little stairwell, up here at the top, you can see very clearly to the side along the wall where that other door is. So like you step out, there's a door immediately now to your right. And along that wall is where those little floating shelves were. And one of the little items on the floating shelf it has a gentle glow about it. A crystal similar to the one that Snow had. Snow, you showed them the crystal, right?
They saw it when
Yeah.
Snow traded it.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like that, but it's not quite as dull as that one was, the one that Snow had. This one just has a darker shade of gray about it, but that one is glowing. And something through the door to your right is glowing.
Well, we're gonna investigate that.
Are you
What?
pointing out the things that you notice?
Yeah.
Snow will take a closer look at the crystal then, since you recognize it.
You're peeking, you're not really like full on investigating. I don't know how much you're able to do while you're also trying to focus and attune.
He hasn't started attuning yet.
Gotcha.
He can't investigate the house while he does that, so he's gonna
Okay.
wait. What kind of magic did you sense from it?
What was the school of magic from the crystal?
You get a sense of evocation magic from it.
Evocation.
So there's probably something in it.
Like it's storing
Yes.
something?
I haven't seen Nora cast anything. Interesting.
And then there's something through here. Ste'yn's gonna go through the door to whatever else was setting off her magic sense and check it out.
Okay. You open that door over to the right, and you walk into this really warm looking room. It has this nice soft pattern along the walls. They look like they're papered over. Immediately ahead of you, you see this wooden chest, fairly simple, but it itself is giving off some type of abjuration, some type of protective guarding magic on it.
I'd like to investigate it, not try and open it or anything, but just look a little bit closer, see if there's like any runes or words carved into it that could give more information about the magic it has.
No will assist.
Excellent. Yeah, investigate with advantage.
That is a 18.
As you notice and you see the type of magic it is and you note who is in this house, you take the time to kind of kneel beside it and look around it. And it doesn't take long, especially because Snow has seen this symbol. But you find that similar, the elvish sigil rune kind of indicative of the word love. You do see it on this chest as well, along like the metal borders of it, near where the little lock is.
Imagine it holds something precious then, but nothing dark. So Ste'yn will move on from that and start searching the rest of the room.
As you walk further in, you see straight ahead of you, there's a round table. It has a scroll on it, sort of a slightly cast aside book, and one chair pulled up to it. There's a bookshelf straight ahead. The windows that are in this room are closed. And as you round the corner, you do see a couple other bookshelves. You see a desk straight ahead, but it is completely dwarfed by a portrait on the wall directly behind it. This oversized, almost larger than life portrait. You see the image of a man and a woman on this portrait. His hair is painted to be swept back almost too perfectly tamed. His smile is gentle, but it is exaggerated, just full of joy, past a trimmed down beard and mustache. Her face is positively beaming, again, exaggerated with just pure joy, that her eyes are shut in this frozen, perfect moment of laughter. And her hair, snow white, is pinned in these beautiful twisting curls, scattered with little diamond gems throughout it. Just around her shoulders and down, you see this elegant white gown that she's wearing. And around her neck, you see that locket.
That's Nora. I wonder who the man is.
It is
Same.
Nora. It doesn't look like her mother or something like that, like an older version of her. It looks like her.
Are you in the room investigating?
Yeah,
Which
he's been
room?
following.
Which room of
Ste'yn.
the house is it, by the way? Are you on the upstairs or downstairs?
We're still in the upstairs. We're in the other big room
okay.
on the map.
Which you take to be a study. After taking a moment, that desk below is just like smattered in books, notes. It's kind of a cacophony of things beside these candles. Smells almost like they were previously lit. With all manner of things on that desk. Snow, you can give me a perception check.
So good at those.
Can I investigate this desk?
You may.
And it's again going to be for the same things as before.
How'd you do, Snow?
I switched dice, so this time we're all the way up to a 6.
Oh.
So I got an 11, but with psionic, it would make it 15. So you can tell me if I need to expend that or not.
Yeah, go ahead, mark it. So, Snow, you were wondering if that was in fact Nora or if it was a relative or something like that. The picture is, the style of the painting is so exaggerated. Ste'yn's first reaction is that it was Nora, but I mean, it's the style is much. It could be skewed in numerous ways. Beau, looking at this desk, you see books. First thing that catches your eye, they're just biggest. They're laid there. Some of them are open to some pages. Some are shut, maybe also cast aside. You find histories of various parts of the world. One book you notice is histories of notable soldiers in the Millennium War. You see one is a history of the expansion of light during the war. One book is called, specifically, it's called Elven Politics, Light Above All. It's written by someone named Soren Zafalia, who, if you're curious about that, I'll let you roll an intelligence history check if you want to know who that is. So there are these books on the table here. You also find some smaller pieces of parchment that appear to be notes. Notes someone was taking quickly. On one of the parchments, the one that kind of stands out to you, it says, notable purgers. Beneath that, you see the name Captain Tunal Bennett. And beside his name, you see this dash, this arrow, and a little note that says Mossbridge / Fallwatch Ravine. Below that, you see another note. It says, honors from Ashvane, a dash, another scribbled note. It says, what brought him to Yerusha? ? And then directly below that, you see the word Knoll ? And you see it slashed out. And the last thing you see on the desk is, and this one was pushed back a little bit further, it appears to be a history specifically of 2 kingdoms, Gursay and Pio. Give me another investigation check.
That one's a 22.
This one was pushed aside, but before you take your eyes off of it, you do note one of the pages has a little dog ear in the corner. If you pop over to that page, as I imagine you might want to, you see that the page itself, just the word that stands out, is the name of a city called Gen.
Was there any notes on it or anything like that?
She didn't write anything, but there's a small paragraph that if you take a minute just to read through it, it's just talking kind of vaguely about a city that is in Gursay, and we know Gursay is just situated along a band of darkness. It's just talking about this one city that happened to get a pretty harshly attacked, probably due to being so close to the darkness. And it's just a way for, it's a rallying cry, kind of. It just, with Yerusha's help, Gursay is now stronger than ever.
So it's like, Yerusha's so great, we helped our neighbors type of deal.
Kind of gives you that sense, yeah.
You mentioned that there was a name and it was, why is he here? Does that name match up with or do any of the names match up with the odd elven name that he saw in the mailbox that you said he noted when he was looking at the mailboxes?
There's only one name on here, and that one would not seem to fit the mailbox name.
I thought there was a name with the why is he here? Or why is he in
No,
Yerusha?
that's all connected. All these scribbled notes appear to be connected to this Captain Tunal Bennett.
Oh, okay. What was he? Sorry, what was he captain of? Or he was
It
like
just
potentially
says-
a purger, right?
Yes. So the note on the table that you notice, it's about notable purgers, and his name is there. And then it has the arrow, and that's where it mentions Mossbridge / Fallwatch Ravine.
And what language is this all in?
Common.
Viola?
She's in another room.
Yeah, he's yelling it.
Okay, Viola comes over.
Uh,
All you'd have to do is kind of peek. Well, you'd have to go in.
he's
Never
also
mind.
now reconsidering the fact that he's yelling in this house that we're not supposed to be in. But
Yes.
you said your parents were purgers, right?
Hmm.
Do you know of any other purgers that were with them? Like, did they talk about any other ones?
I would have learned quite a bit about purgers, either that my parents worked with or through
Have
my
you
studies.
heard of a Tumal Bennett? Tamale.
DM, have I heard of him?
Give me tamale.
Tamale.
No, you can't roll for tamale Bennett. But Tamale Bennett, I will let you roll. Give me an intelligence history check, please.
14.
Yeah, you may have. It's distinctly possible that you've heard of them. Oh, you've heard of this person, and not even necessarily from your parents. You're aware of kind of purger news, and I imagine it's something that interests you, and you'd keep up with it. He is a turtle. He's a renowned purger. His name did come up recently. It's been a while. It's probably been about a year, going on a year at the very least. There was something happened here in Yerusha that his name came up being involved.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of I recognize that name. I want to say like a year ago, something happened in Yerusha with him. I know that he is a pretty respected turtle purger. But that's all that's coming to mind right now.
She has a note about him in here, so I don't know if you might know why she might make some notes on that.
What else
I
does it
don't
say in there?
know. Does it say Viola's gonna go and like look at whatever
Read it.
he's looking at more intently?
Yeah, he'll just kind of divide up the information. He'll pass some of it to Viola, some of it to Ste'yn.
And so she has some over to Snow. Does Ste'yn recognize any of this, or any names or places?
Yeah, at the very least, just for fun, give me a history check.
That
Whoever
is
would like
a 15.
Snow got a 17.
Hey. The words Mossbridge and Fallwatch Ravine, those are definitely familiar. Fallwatch Ravine is a ravine. It's further north. It surrounds like central Yerusha. Fallwatch is the name of one of the major cities, one of the 3 major cities. So there's Zayli, there's Fallwatch, and there's Dranfeld. So the ravine is just this natural formation not far north of Fallwatch. Mossbridge, with a 17 and a 15, you would recall there is a sad but overcoming history with Mossbridge. It was a village that was attacked. It was a devastating attack. People don't like to talk about it just because it's sad, but the village was essentially razed. It was left as basically nothing, a no survivors situation. With a 17, you have heard of efforts for rebuilding, bringing the village back, rebuilding it, but it was a devastating attack.
Are you relaying any of that, Ste'yn?
Ste'yn will talk a little bit about it. Mossbridge was attacked not around a year ago, razed, no survivors. She's gonna glare at Snow while she's saying this and see if he's reacting to this in any sort of way, or if he's shut down again.
Snow notices that Ste'yn is looking at him.
Do we notice
That's-
this Ste'yn
That's
peeking at him?
where it happened.
I'm sorry.
Oh, are you there, Snow? Alright,
What?
well, why is she researching places that seem to have gotten destroyed? 'Cause that's 2 things that she's researching of things that got overrun.
Who knows? Maybe it's looking for some sort of connection, some sort of larger thing going on. I think there's more to the dark than a lot of people want to admit, and maybe she's trying to
But
figure out what that is.
the connection, I mean, I'm not saying that they can't be connected, but it's a big gap of land and time for them to be connected. Did they look through the book as well? I'm guessing, or not? See,
We flipped through a lot of stuff that was on the desk.
okay. So he's gonna flip back over to the thing about Gen, and he's gonna be like, so like this was a century ago. Well, a little bit more than a century ago. This place, which actually I talked to Viola about that a little bit when you guys were talking amongst yourselves.
What happened in Gen?
Well, it got destroyed.
All right. Lots of places get destroyed. Lots of things get destroyed.
So-
What happened in Gen?
So it was a guardianship, but that was a much smaller guardianship, from my understanding, than this place. And there were spies or something akin to spies in it. This is why I was mentioning to Viola, because I was letting her know that she should be cautious about talking about what was going on, because since that ambush that happened, I can't help the feeling like we can have not an exact situation as there, but maybe there is something more going on here, because essentially they had some people that got in there, were under the radar, and then they one evening collaborated and had all these plots pointed out, and they were able to quickly dispatch like captains and all of that, so that way all of the underlings wouldn't have anybody to actually give them proper orders, and there was just complete chaos. They couldn't really create like any kind of formations or anything like that, and so then it just became that much easier to overtake because nobody was actually given proper direction.
How do you know all this?
History?
Insight?
Yeah.
Beau, you are welcome to roll persuasion or deception as you please.
Let's see. That is a
I got a
18.
26.
Guidance?
22.
Inspiration?
Can't cast guidance while I have detect magic up.
Oh.
No!
That
There
can't
you
be
go.
the same thing.
Well, that's because they're also in different regions. Because I know that you said that one was on the border, which is that's on the west, right? The Gen was on the west, and isn't the other one like northeast-ish?
Which other one?
The ravine place, isn't that the other one?
Fall Watch
Fall Watch.
Yes.
or Moss
Mossbridge
Yeah,
and
Moss
Fall
Bridge
Watch
is
Ravine?
northeast, isn't it? Like, because they're in the Eurusha.
In Eurusha.
Yeah, and the other one's in the. Okay, yeah. So they're different.
Yes. Comparatively to the two cities, yes, would be
Okay.
one would be east, one would be
Yeah.
west. Yes. I'm like, wait, west? What do you mean? Like east? It's northwest Eurusha. It's northwest Eurusha, but it is east comparably.
Is there something that happened before? I don't remember the name of the other guardianship we were just talking about, and I don't want
Gen?
to say the wrong thing. Gen. Okay. Is there something that happened prior to what happened in Gen that's similar to what happened in Fall Watch? Like Fall Watch is a precursor to something that could happen here.
Well, I mean, I don't know
Yes.
exactly what
No.
the lineup was there, but I know that there wasn't no ambush that happened before anything. That's what strikes me as a bit odd, that there was an ambush, because if you do have people that are infiltrating your ranks and then they set up an ambush based off of intel that they're gathering from inside, it kind of gives away the fact that there's a spy inside. So unless there was something very important like the crown that we had, it probably wouldn't have warranted setting up an ambush. I mean, because, sure, they have Nora, who's kind of out of commission, and then they did get Kalain, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it's not as well organized as just setting up like a kind of coup and springing it on them all at once. So I feel like if the spies aren't being, like, if the people that are behind this aren't being stupid, then it was an act of desperation. Like, they needed to do it to get something now. Either that or they are kind of dumb.
There are
Well,
lots of things that can make
whoever-
the dark act.
I mean, I feel like someone had to have done something to Nora to make her look the way that she did. And whoever did it I'm assuming, doesn't know that Snow was just using an illusion. Otherwise, why would you disguise someone as an illusion?
Well, I was hoping that she would have some kind of journal or diary or something like that that might indicate what she was already sick with, because she was already sick before we like saw her. She was coughing when we got in there.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah, it seemed
didn't
like that
seem.
dark mist affected her. Like she's got some sort of history with whatever's happening. Did you look around the desk in the drawers or look for any like secret compartments or anything?
Would the 15 have shown me any secret compartments or anything?
Room was pretty sparse.
Did
Except
Viola
the things in
investigate
the
the deck?
armoire.
Like see if there's any secret drawers or anything?
In this desk or back in her room?
In the desk that all this stuff was on top of.
While she does that,
Sure,
Beau's
go
gonna look
ahead.
out the window now to see if there's any more action out on the streets.
You
That's a
take a look out the
22.
window. A 22. Okay.
Nat 20.
Beau, you're looking out, but it wasn't a nat 20.
It was a nat 20 for my investigation of the
Oh.
desk.
Well, hot dang. Okay.
She sees
That's
this
very
desk.
different. Okay. So, Beau, you look out the window. You still don't see the guard. You still just see average walking around. Not much of it. Viola, you are looking around the desk, under, over, pulling the drawer out. You don't find a journal, and maybe that's what you were looking for, specifically since Beau had mentioned, well, a diary, a journal. Okay, let me try and find that. Instead, what you find is one of the kind of thrown aside scrolls, as if maybe it was like shoved aside because this was more important. One of the ones on the ground, it looks like a quickly scribbled note, not a full-on letter, just like a note you might, leave on the fridge or something. It appears to be talking about past experience. The words like fatigue and tired are on there. It says, something along the lines of, don't worry when you get back. The tea is waiting, but she'll be out for a while. More tired than you've probably ever seen her, so don't panic. And it seems to be on the ground here.
Viola will pick it up,
but left
and
for someone.
Say this. I found this note on the ground, and it kind of looks like care instructions left for somebody about Nora, and she'll offer it up if anybody else wants to read it.
Beau will read it. Or, I mean, Ste'yn can read it first. She knows more about medical things than he does.
Ste'yn will
It
read
says
it.
something about
around.
tea.
What does the tea do?
Does
What's
it say what the tea does on the note, or even what kind of tea
Not
it is?
specifically.
There is a cup next to her on her nightstand. I didn't see if there was anything in it, but I know that there's a cup there.
There is a cup there. In fact.
You could go see if there's liquid in it. Take a whiff.
good?
Wait a minute.
No, we'll go do that.
And Snow, because you've smelled this smell before, you recognize it. It was very likely brewed with the type of tea leaf that you were sent to bring to Saker's Keep, as if they were prepared for some such. Maybe this has happened before. Maybe not to this degree, but maybe this fatigue has happened before.
Beau is going to try to remember something that he was told about a while ago in regards to the knife, because he's never actually put it back. He still has it on him. He's gonna take it out and look at it and try to remember something on the nature of obsidian, because he said that's the kind of rock that it is, right?
Onyx.
On
Oh, was it onyx? For some reason I thought it was obsidian. Okay, then never mind.
O's.
Huh? Well, no, because I was
O's.
thinking of real life obsidian. It's highly regarded as a protective stone known to block, absorb, and transfer negative energy. And I thought maybe that why it would be put in the armoire, not on her person, if someone was out for ill intent. But if it was onyx, then I guess it doesn't really matter.
I'll remember that for the next big bad evil guy.
Stone
Now,
lore.
onyx bestows
Stone.
courage in battle.
Does it?
Ancient
I
Romans
definitely
thought
thought
so.
of that.
Do we think that there's going to be anything on the downstairs of the house, or do we think we should?
We need to go check downstairs.
Okay. Beau's going to decide to put the knife next to Nora because he thinks that is a better defensive weapon than having a gun for close range that only has 3 bullets. So he's going to put that next to her. And when he does that, he's going to realize that he still has that bird thing from the shop. by accident.
Oh yeah, that probably was giving off some magic.
So I know this might be hard to believe, but I actually didn't mean to take this.
I don't believe you. You're right.
All right, well, I didn't mean to. We should probably give it back. It's quite expensive.
What even is it?
It's supposed to be able to summon a raven to do things for you, but yeah, it's 600 gold pieces, and I don't know. If I'm gonna return to a place, I'd rather not have it clearly noticeable that I've stolen something worth 600 gold pieces when I have to go back. So maybe we can quickly stop on by that once we leave this house.
I think that's a great idea.
We should return it. Ste'yn's gonna start heading downstairs. She's particularly interested in the door and the ward that might be on it.
Viola's gonna
Okay,
just holler
and-
really quickly and say that she's gonna go back and keep an eye on Nora, and when you guys are ready to leave, to come and grab her, and she'll walk back in the room with Nora and continue to keep an eye out the window and
But-
on Nora and all that.
Beau's gonna message into your head, oh, actually, we still have this open, so instead of all this yelling, we should be using this.
Very true. I forgot about that.
Beau, as you're leaving the room again, give me a perception check.
As I'm leaving, like, Nora's room again?
Nora's room.
Okay, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. As you're heading out and you're passing the desk and the portrait of that village on the wall, it catches your eye for just a moment. At first, it's just this really well done portrait. It's not that same exaggerated style of the festive portrait in the other room. This one, it kind of catches your eye for a moment because it being a village, it's this kind of rustic, not really refined, that clipped, clean look that most places in the region you're in tend to have. This one just looks much more rustic than would be normal for this region. Almost familiar. You've traveled a decent bit, so it's almost familiar in how it looks. It just caught your eye.
Can you remember what it would be called?
Give me an intelligence history check.
5.
I mean, you've traveled a fair bit. It just looks like some place you may have passed through. And it's a pretty portrait. And as you all get
Right, good.
downstairs, you start making your way towards the door when you hear the sound of a chair moving, and then you hear someone go, "Oh, wasn't supposed to stand up that fast. Sorry." And across the room by the upholstered seating at the little coffee table on the other side of the living room, you see that same woman. Those goggles are now over her head as if she has been quite enough of dealing with them. Long black hair. She's got her cloak and the brooches, and she's pinned. And she stands and she kind of gives you a little wave. Have you seen everything you needed to see?
On our next tale.
You can roll a persuasion with disadvantage.
This isn't how things usually go in our life.
Can you just tell us
I'm being
about the
rude.
door, please?
My name is Snow. What's up with the door?
Yeah, the lizard dude. Or, sorry, dragon man.
Dragonborn.
Born.
Don't touch her weapons. Don't touch the garden out back. And that's basically all you need to stay in her good graces.
So what are you if you had trouble with that door? I'm trying to figure out what I am, because I'm obviously not like my family.
There is a kind of celestial type of race.
People don't usually just make stuff up out of nowhere.
I mean, Beau kind of does that sometimes.
Can I talk to you for a moment?